Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of the Lim Kopi podcast. I'm your host, Kokal, and today we do have a very special episode. We do have our very first international guest. So for the very first time in 15 episodes, this is 50 episode. Yeah, it's the 50 episodes. We have our first international guest, and I can't wait to really introduce this guest. So, hi there. Um, who you and what do you do?
Hi, this is Kaylyn, and I make videos and I post on my channel named Sakura Snoopy. Yeah, that is what I do. I basically do weekly vlogs about my
Mhm.
life in Japan. I'm currently studying in Japan in
Ah,
university.
okay. First of all, I just had to mention this because I think I
Mhm.
mentioned to you this prior to recording this that um, you in your videos, right? You were
Yes.
having your long hair, and
Yes.
suddenly now I'm seeing you with your short hair. I'm so taken aback by it. So, what made you cut your hair? What's the midlife crisis all about?
Yeah. So life has been giving me lemons, and I cut my hair basically because of what happened in the past, and I wanna leave everything in the past, and I don't hope to get recognized from anyone from my past. And I'm talking about my ex supervisor has that had been giving me a hard time, and now I'm no longer there. I'm with a new supervisor, but I'm still in the same university, so there's a chance that I would bump into him.
I
So
think you
cutting my hair
brief.
short would, yeah,
Mm.
maybe he won't recognize me. That's what I think. And also, I want to start afresh at my
I
new
see.
place. Yeah.
I think you briefly mentioned about this in your video so far, but maybe if you don't mind talking about it, maybe just help us to get up to speed of what's the situation like, uh, like what happened to you exactly.
So basically, it's my ex teacher. He has some anger management problems and has a lot of mood swings. And he's actually harsh to all of us in the lab, but he's just extra harsh to me, and I don't know why.
Ah,
So he would get mad at me really often. It's like other people did the same thing and I do the same thing, but they are okay. But for me, it's like I'm dead.
oh
So
no.
yeah, and it's a form of harassment, I guess, and also power tripping.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it got unbearable, so I just left.
So you had a form of depression and you went through like a crisis. That's why you cut your hair. Like not really just
Yeah,
because of that, but I think as a sign of just moving on from it and
yeah, as a sign of
learning.
moving on
Oh, that's
to
really
help myself
nice.
to forget about the past. Yeah,
I hope you're in a better place right now.
yeah, I'm for sure in a much better place, which is great.
So how have things been for you so far lately? Besides your situation right now?
There's definitely less stress,
Mm.
and yeah, and also it's getting harder for me to upload more like consistently on YouTube. Yeah,
Oh
I just
man,
got a little bit lazier lately, and
I
that's it.
guess
Yeah,
I guess it's normal. We procrastinate or we do have
yeah,
our
yeah,
low
yeah.
moments as well. Even for myself, I haven't been posting very often. But I think it's okay, like because we are still human. We
Yeah,
still need
yeah,
some time to really rest, and when we bounce back, we bounce back.
yeah,
So don't be too hard on yourself, and I wish you all the best in
yeah.
whatever that you're doing lah. Just make sure that you take some time to really rest up and reflect on your life, as well
Hmm.
as when you do come back, make sure you come back stronger.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it too much lah. So again, today we have Kaylyn. So she is in Japan right now, and today's topic that we're gonna dive into is about studying and living overseas. But before we dive into today's episode, or at least the topic itself, we're gonna go into our segment that we usually frequent a lot, which is the Kopi Talk segment. So in this Kopi topic segment, I of course ask my guest to bring in her favorite drink. Unfortunately, she's in Japan. I can't buy her a drink. I don't know how, but Kaylee, can you please teach me how to buy things to people overseas? I would love to learn, but unfortunately, I couldn't do that. So I guess I have to trouble her to really get her favorite drink, lah. So, can you tell us what is your favorite drink and why do you like this drink?
So my favorite drink is actually Sky Juice.
Sky Juice.
Yeah. So I guess you can say this is my favorite drink because this is what I drink most of the time. And yeah, I actually prepare coffee as well. I have my coffee and yeah, instant coffee with almond milk.
Oh, almond
But
milk.
yes, yes, yes. I just stopped drinking milk like since a few months ago because I think dairy is like bad for my skin. That is why I stopped drinking cow's milk. And sparkling juice is because I just like to live healthy. So
Wait,
water.
is sparkling juice even like
Wait.
healthier?
Sky juice, sky juice,
Sky
sky juice.
juice.
Sorry. Sky juice. So basically, I just like to live healthy. That is why I drink sky juice. But
Okay.
for now, it's because I drink coffee and sky juice. So maybe I'll drink coffee first and then sky juice to like, because coffee stains my teeth, right? So
Of
there's a
course.
sky juice
Yep.
here to wash away.
Did
So
you
that is
do you
why.
drink like coffee very often? Just wondering.
Yeah, I used to drink like every day so that
Ah,
I can be so that I can be more like energized and won't mess up in school. But now I'm trying to like get away from the addiction. So it's been like 2 to 3 weeks since my change of supervisor. So I've been trying to not depend on coffee so much. Yeah.
that's nice. That's nice. So
Yeah.
you put almond milk into your coffee as well. So okay, that's nice. That's interesting because I don't really hear people putting almond milk into their coffees a
Oh
lot.
really?
Yeah,
Then
like
what else
even
they put?
okay for me, right?
Uh-huh.
I usually like to put my soya milk into my coffees or teas.
Ah.
Yeah, but usually, like people in Singapore, we either put either condensed milk or just regular milk. Like I don't really hear people putting almond milk or soya milk. I might be wrong, so don't add me on this. But but I just don't really hear people using like almond milk a lot. But usually, when
Yeah.
people ask me like when if you drink almond milk or soya milk, they'll ask me whether I'm lactose intolerant. But
Yeah.
I just not. I just like drinking it more. I think there's a
Mm-hmm.
certain taste to it, lor. Yeah.
I know soy milk is like a popular milk alternative, but then I cannot accept the taste of soy. I've
It's
tried
okay.
before making soy milk at home. So I bought the soy milk because I don't want to like take in sugar. So I bought the soy milk that is like unsweetened one. And I cannot
Ah,
accept the taste. And I've tried it before at Starbucks as well. I asked for soy milk alternative. And it didn't taste good as well, so I tried, but yeah, I didn't like it.
so yeah, team almond milk.
Team non-soy milk, I guess. And also I don't really like my coffee to be sweet, so maybe sugar and what was that? Condensed milk is not a great idea for me. I've never tried before, but I don't think I like sweet coffee.
Okay, got it. For myself, I
Mm-hmm.
brought hot Milo, but by the time of this recording, it's already warm itself. Um, okay, the reason why I brought Milo is because of your cake as well.
Yeah.
So, there's some context to this cake itself. This cake. So I'm holding up for the camera to see. Um, I don't know why you actually bought it when you gave it to me.
Mhm.
I was trying to like think of the reason, like why are you randomly buying cakes for me? And then I thought it could be because of this podcast. So
That might be the reason as well.
okay, but let me explain the story
Mhm.
first. So yesterday by the way, a day before prior to this recording,
Mhm.
she actually messaged me randomly saying that, hey, can I send you something? like, can you FedEx? Can I FedEx to your are you working from home? Then I said, I'm working from home. Then she said that, oh, I almost wanted to FedEx to your work company, like my workplace. I was so taken aback by it, and I was asking her like, do you have something to send to my workplace instead? So because I didn't know like what she really want to send me, and then she told me it was cakes. I was like, why do you want to send me cakes randomly? And then right, for just this morning, I was checking through my YouTube notifications. I saw the thread. I was like, oh, it's because of that. So let me just put in a screenshot of that. So basically, so basically, in one of the videos that you put out, you were eating like cake. I think you were baking a cake, if I recall correctly.
Mhm.
So I said that I was craving for a cake, and then you said you would send me one if you could. I was like, I was just jokingly saying, FedEx me, please. And then you really did. You really did send me. I was like so shocked.
Because I really want to send you if I could. So I'm also a
Oh,
person who really likes to procrastinate. Because it's like if I want to send you a cake, I want to choose a cake that is like confirmed is nice. So it's like a difficult task for me. So I procrastinate until it's like, okay, tomorrow is the podcast. So I think that will be a like great timing to send you like
yes,
yesterday.
it was a
Like
great
before the
time.
podcast.
You were
Yeah.
very, you're very lucky because I was really at home the whole entire afternoon until I
Uh-huh.
had to go out for a concert at that night.
Oh.
Okay, I might talk to you about the concert maybe off
Uh-huh.
camera or maybe quickly later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was very thankful that you sent me just before I had to go out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 1 2 hours before I need to go out. So luckily you sent me that.
Uh,
So yeah, I'm very thankful you sent me Milo dinosaur cake from Cat and the Fiddles. I actually eaten this before, so I actually
oh,
liked it a lot. So thank you so much for that.
that's great.
My cameraman slash timekeeper, he's actually eating Russian whiskey. So the one that you get,
Ah,
the other cake that you actually uh sent out.
yes.
Do you like it, the cake, Clement? Okay, he nods.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, great. Okay, so we just cheers to each other and we start the podcast then.
Mhm. What do you want me to choose? Sky juice or
Whatever is comfortable for you
this?
then.
Okay. Do I
Sky
need to
juice
show the
then.
camera?
I guess so.
Like, okay.
Okay, cheers.
Yay. Cheers.
This is the first time I'm hearing a person who say their favorite drink is sky juice. But sure, we just take it from there then. Okay, I think let's get down to this topic because it's been dragging for too long already.
Mm-hmm.
But so as we have discussed, you were studying abroad and you're studying in Japan. But
Mm-hmm.
let's just talk about the reasoning behind why you have chose Japan, and as well as what made you want to study abroad in the first place.
Okay. So, like studying abroad is like in Malaysia, it seems like a very glamorous thing to do. It's like when
Really?
you it's when you can go abroad and then it's like you are better than anyone else. But obviously that's not the fact, that's not the truth. So growing up, I just have this mindset because of how my parents raised me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you have to like win a scholarship to go abroad to make us proud and do well in your studies like that. But myself is like, yeah, under my parents' influence, like how they teach me and raise me, and also myself, I just like to experience something different. I want to live somewhere like
Hmm.
different to experience like what it's like on the other side of the world, and also what it's like to live independently.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have really strict parents, so
Definitely.
living abroad and studying abroad is like I can get my freedom and I can do whatever I want and live my own life, and also experience culture, and also to meet other people. For example, I come to Japan, I met people that I couldn't have met in Malaysia. So I met with like Mongolians, Indonesians,
Oh.
and also people from China. So I think that's really interesting talking to people from different backgrounds and yeah, countries.
Wow. It sounds like a very fun experience. Now you want me now I want to study overseas.
really. Yeah.
Okay, but how was your life like before? When you make the decision to really travel overseas or to study? I mean, how is your life in Malaysia back then?
Back when in Malaysia, so when I was still in secondary school, when I was still living in my parents' home, um, I basically just go to tuitions and study at home. Tuition, study at home. So
Mhm.
that is basically my life. Is pretty boring, and just study and tuition. And then after that, after my secondary school, I went for this school in Kuala Lumpur to
Mhm.
study Japanese. So from there, I kind of get a little bit of freedom because I left my house and stay away from home. So it's like, yeah, it was great. So I had a lot of fun and also struggling as well to study Japanese.
I'm sure. Yep.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So
Yeah.
I guess like when you got that freedom to study the Japanese language, and plus I guess you kind of got fascinated by the culture as well. Is that the reason why you kind of like wanting to study at Japan as well? In Japan?
Yeah, I'm fascinated because I like sushi. So it's like Japan and sushi. So it's like Japan, I can eat sushi every day. That is just what I thought. So my mind is like really pure and innocent that time. I never really thought a lot about it. I just
I
think, okay, Japan will be a place that is like right for me because I like to eat sushi.
Hello, Malaysia got sushi also. Okay,
It's
please.
different. It's different. It's different. Like Japan sushi is different. It's different.
So what's the
Yeah.
difference?
It tastes better. It's like when I come after coming to Japan to study, I never go back to Malaysia to eat sushi anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'll always like, for example, I come back home to Malaysia for like a month for my summer vacation. I would crave sushi, but I won't eat sushi in Malaysia. I would wait until I come back to Japan. And the difference is just that it just tastes better. I don't know how.
Is it because it's in Japan?
No. It's definitely not because in Japan. Because my parents have come to Japan before, and I've
Mm-hmm.
bring them to sushi as well, and they said it's different as well. It just tastes better.
Okay, so when the
Yeah,
COVID pandemic is over, when I go over to Japan, you better bring me to nice sushi.
yeah. Just anywhere, just any random restaurant will like any random sushi restaurant will taste better than the sushi in Malaysia. And I'm not
Or at
talking
least in
about
Singapore.
those
Yep.
high. I'm not talking about those like expensive, high-end, luxurious sushi in Malaysia because I have not eaten those before. But I'm comparing with those normal sushi in Malaysia.
Yeah, you're just a
Yeah.
cheap Asian here.
Yeah, cheap sushi. Like the cheap sushi in Japan and the cheap sushi in Malaysia is different. Yeah.
Yes. Even the cheap sushi in Singapore just tastes like cheap.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess you grew up in a very strict Asian household where you're
Yeah.
faced with like tuition, basically to school tuition, study, sleep.
Yeah, basically that's it.
Yeah. So I guess like now that you have a freedom, I guess it's like really a very eye opener experience for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how has Japan been treating you so far ever since you moved there, or at least when you started studying there? Have you like adapted to the lifestyle there?
Yeah, it's my 5th year here right now. So I've wait, I'm looking for the word. Actually the Japanese word is in my mind, but I'm trying to translate it. So this is how
This
it
is how
is right now.
Japanese you are now.
Yeah, so this is how it is right now. Sometimes I think in Japanese. But obviously when it was at the beginning, I cannot do this. So it's really hard for me to speak Japanese because I learned Japanese in Malaysia and I didn't use it. For me, if I didn't use the language, I will not be able to speak it. But I can write, I can read. So in the beginning, it was hard because I cannot speak, and
Mm-hmm.
I was in an environment that is very Japanese. Like the whole class of 45 students, I'm the only foreigner. So
Yep.
it's like it's hard if I don't speak Japanese. That is why like within half a year, I became like instead of total silent, I can speak a little bit and communicate my needs. So
Yep.
yeah, and after that, yeah, I took half a year to get used to it. and after that, it's just great. I think if I go back to Malaysia right now, I would have a what do they call it?
Culture
Reverse
shock.
culture shock. Reverse culture shock.
Mm.
Yeah, I will have a reverse culture shock. I just, if you ask me which country I prefer, I cannot have a definite answer.
I think your mind is still
Yeah.
thinking about sushi, right?
No, not just sushi, not just sushi. There are a lot. Like, for example, the last time I went back to Malaysia, what I remember was the toilet.
So that was a bigger
So
reverse
the-
culture shock for you.
Yeah, because I remember I got off from the flight. Airport is
Mhm.
still okay because it's the airport. And
Of
then from the
course.
flight, I have to take a bus back to my hometown. And from the bus station, I went into the toilet with my luggage. It was wet. So it's
Oh
a
my
normal thing
God.
in Malaysia, but in Japan, it's like toilets are always dry.
Yeah, it's
Always
impeccable,
dry.
basically.
Yeah, it's always dry. And then in Malaysia, it's like, why is the toilet wet? And then I thought about it. Because this is Malaysia. Yeah. So that is
But-
one of the.
But hey, that's the bus station. You haven't gone to the kampong areas yet. That's even worse, right? I'm assuming.
Oh, I think the worst toilet I've seen might be my school toilet during my secondary school or my primary school.
How do you survive, man?
Yeah, I think about it a lot after coming to Japan. Like, how did I survive that?
But to be fair, you grew up in that environment.
Yeah.
So you just think that it's just normal to you. But when
Yeah,
you went
it's normal.
But when you went to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a culture shock for you because
Yes.
you're like wondering why are the toilets are so clean. And I
Mm-hmm.
think you're not really used to it. So is that one of your biggest culture shock, or is there probably more culture shocks for you?
That is not exactly my biggest culture shock because toilets in Malaysia are wet, but toilets at my own home, are always clean and dry.
They are different.
So when I
lah.
come to Japan, it's like, everywhere is my home toilet. That kind of feeling. This is not exactly a culture shock.
I see. But do you have like any other like culture shocks that maybe you want to share with the audience? Like, when you first go over to Japan, like just walk me through
Okay.
like your first impressions and also your first few like culture shocks that you experienced.
Okay, my first culture shock that is like the first culture shock that shocked me the most is public bath in Japan. So it is a very normal thing for Japanese people to take a bath together naked in a room. And I mean like girls with girls, guys with guys. And
Of
it's
course,
very
yeah.
normal.
Cannot be together, of course, yeah.
Wait, there is actually some places that can be together. Like in the history, there is something that is called mixed bath in Japan.
There's a mixed
So-
bath?
In Japan, there's this thing called mixed bath in the history. Maybe like 100 or 200 years ago, like before Japan was even a country, there's actually this thing called mixed bath. And I believe that even in this day, there are still some, maybe just not well known. So there is mixed bath in Japan. Like the onsen, hot spring, kind of.
Oh. So your biggest culture shock when you went to a public bath, you've been wondering like why is everybody all naked there?
No,
Basically,
my
or-
first time was actually because before coming to Japan, I've heard that Japanese people, they just take a bath together. Like it's nothing, like to be
Oh.
naked and all. If you go into the bath, like trying to cover yourself, it'll be very obvious that you are the foreigner inside. Yeah. So my first time having to force myself into a public bath was actually in 2017, the first time, the very beginning when I was in Japan. I was actually traveling, budget traveling. So
Okay.
I didn't stay in a hotel. I didn't have a shower. I didn't have a room. I remember staying in a karaoke room with my friend.
Is
Yeah.
it one of those videos that I might have seen before?
Yeah, but that was not the time. But it's like
Okay.
a room like that. So
Okay.
me and my friend, so we took turns to go to the public bath to take a shower, because there's no shower in the karaoke room. So we took turns to walk like maybe 5 to 10 minutes. There's a public bathhouse.
Mhm.
Wait. No. That was not the time. That was actually the second time, like the second night. But
Oh, second night. Okay.
the first night, my friend dragged me to the public bath. That night also we were planning to stay in a karaoke room, so she dragged me to a public bath. And that is my first time, that experience, like seeing everyone's like they're like fine, like normal, just doing their thing, just being naked and stuff. But I was like really, really reluctant. My friend was like forcing me, kind of forcing me. And then from there I kind
Oh.
of get used to it.
So
Yeah.
now that you go to a public bath, you're just more used to it, lah.
And also and also in my because I was at a junior college before this and I stay in the dormitory.
Mm-hmm.
And in the dormitory, there's actually special shower room for
Yeah, shower rooms. Yeah.
foreigners. Yeah, so there's
Okay.
only like two or three shower rooms for only foreigners. And then that dormitory is actually like 3-story high. And then there are like many other Japanese students. So for the Japanese, they cannot use the shower room. The only thing they
Oh.
have is a public bath.
Oh.
So can you
S-
imagine, like, maybe you can put a photo or something. So it's like a line of shower heads on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone just take their shower inside, and then there's a really big bath, like a pool inside.
Ah, okay. I can
Maybe
imagine in
maybe
my
I'll
mind.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll Google an image for you to see.
Okay, you can send me privately after that. I'll take a look from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the way, right, viewers and listeners, we're not a podcast talking about naked stuff. We're just like so don't get the wrong impression that I'm trying to be funny
Yeah.
here. But it's so fascinating to hear about like this kind of like interesting cultures. That I'm if I were to go Japan and if I were to encounter a public bath, because I'm so body image conscious, I don't think I'm able to go in like as open as possible, you know. I'll probably
Yes.
be like wondering where is like a private cubicle for me to shower. Yeah, so to hear this, right, and hear your experience is just like so fascinating.
Yeah. Fascinating to be naked in front of other people.
I guess it's just like being very vulnerable because number one, because I'm fat, so I'm very particular about like my skin already. So it's like I don't know, like people will people like judge you and all that, but it's the same thing as like you going to a gym, like you just sweat all
Yeah.
this and everything. Like people's not gonna care if you are exercising or not, right? You
Yeah.
just do your own thing there. But maybe public baths is different because you are like literally naked. So basically you're as vulnerable as you can be.
Yeah, but
So
for the Japanese people, it's like very normal for them.
nah, to them it's
Which
normal,
is,
man.
yeah.
Okay. Before we go into the topics of about how COVID pandemic has affected like your living in your way of life in Japan, maybe just take a quick short break. Just quick shishi break.
Shishi Ray. Wait, do you watch Ryan Higa?
Yeah. So I'm basically like kind of like what's
No
it
wonder you tell me to clap just now. And do we have to like breathe into the mic later?
No. We're not copying that. We're not copying that. But basically, it's just a simple like palette cleanser break, basically. So I'll just take a quick break. Then we'll just come back from there.
Okay.
Okay. So see you guys in the next part. So welcome back to part two of this. I don't know. We just took a break. I don't know, I mean, we're back from this. I mean, Kaylyn was just sharing about her living lifestyle in Japan so far. Prior to COVID pandemic, now because we are in the COVID pandemic, it's gonna be more focused towards that. And now, so with the current situation in Japan and the whole pandemic itself, how has it been affecting you so far? Is it very bad? I mean, I think there was one point in time that Japan was like in a state of emergency, right? If I recall correctly.
Yes, Japan was in and out of state of emergency for like I lost count. I don't know how many times.
And then you have the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, and it's really weird. Like we even have Tokyo Olympics during the state of emergency, but basically state of emergency is just a name. Like if I want to go to Disneyland during the state of emergency, you can. That is what
Huh?
my friend did. Like he traveled with his friends like all the way from the countryside of Japan to
Mhm.
Disneyland in Tokyo during the state of emergency. So I
How?
don't really know what's the point of the state of emergency actually.
Okay, well, we're not critics here.
Hmm.
We're not critics criticizing on like the government's way of
Yeah,
like,
I'm not criticizing, but that's just what happened.
it's just our feelings and our thoughts, and we just wanted to talk about it. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, I mean, Tokyo was in a state of emergency like a few
Yeah.
times here and there. They had Tokyo Olympics. So I don't know what happened during the Olympics that time. Like I was reading the news, and then like there were some like people, some of the athletes got COVID, and then it's like it's not about whether you qualify for the qualifying rounds now. It's whether the COVID wants you to qualify in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you got the virus, it's like good luck to you. You can't do anything anymore, regardless of how good and bad you are.
Yeah, but I think it is comparatively maybe harder to catch the COVID virus in Japan. That is what I feel.
Serious?
Because like Japan, they really take things seriously, and like even the government didn't do a lockdown. They will try to like refrain from like going out. Of course, not all of them. And also schools, they will try to refrain from having physical classes
I
and do
see.
online classes instead. Like nobody's telling them to do that, but they will do it themselves. So there's a sense of responsibility within the Japanese people. But of course, there's also people who doesn't care and just do whatever they want.
Of course, you have that minority population that doesn't
Yeah.
really care about anything. We call them the Karens. We call them like people who are just trying to be funny. But
Yeah.
but then again, I think it's in Japanese culture to be like so adaptive very easily, right?
Not really.
Really?
They are not really adaptive. What I have in mind, like my impression towards them is like most of them are like a little bit close-minded. It's not, yeah, not really adaptive. Like for example, like Japan is still using fax machine.
Huh?
Yes.
Fax machine?
Fax machine.
Serious? Even
And
at this
then,
this
yeah.
this decade? Oh my goodness!
And when you go to the bank, there's like a lot of paperwork. So it's like they are still stuck in maybe like 2000s or like 1990s.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
because
but
it's like sorry, maybe just to cut in a bit. That's interesting because whenever I watch like TV shows from Japan and as well as animes or like documentaries here and there, it's always perceived that Japan is very technologically advanced.
Yeah, that is correct actually. Like
But when you mention this about the fax machine and the banks are being like just using our paperwork, I'm like so shocked to hear this.
yeah. Yeah, I'm actually confused as well. When you say like technology advance, that is true. That is true as well. Like we have the Shinkansen, like the transport system is like really convenient.
Yep.
Trains, we have like a few types of trains, like fast one, super fast one, slow one, or middle slow. Like there are a lot of trains, and then transport is like very convenient, and also robots. I can see
Yes.
robots pretty common in Japan. Even I live in the countryside, when I go and eat yakiniku, barbecue, Japanese barbecue, my food, the robot serve my food. And also when I go to a sushi restaurant, my sushi come like automatically. There's a something like a train.
Yeah, the bullet train.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, it is technology. The technology is advanced, but
Yes,
still there are
correct.
some things in Japan that are like still stuck in the past.
I see, I see. I mean, for Singapore, like we are advanced in some level, but I guess there's still like some elements of human touch. So I guess like if some people like still wants to go to the bank and open their account here and there, it's still possible. But there was one fine day I actually went to the bank and tried to open the account. Then the bank manager was like saying, "You know you can do this online, right?" I was like, I thought we need to do it in person because we need to
Oh,
see my IC and all that. So I was like a bit confused. Like, I mean, yes, we are technologically advanced in some sense, but some things like we still can do it like in person as well. So I mean, it's for the benefit of the seniors lah. Cause like especially Asians and as well as I mean seniors, they're like it's very
yeah,
they're not as receptive to technology as much. And I
yeah.
feel like a
That might be
boomer as
the
well now.
reason. that might be the reason, since Japan's population is like 70% seniors. And
It's
also,
like,
for opening a bank account, we need to have a stamp of our own. You know, the chop.
yep.
Yeah. Like in Singapore or in Malaysia, we use signature, right? We just have to like
Yeah, signature.
do our signature.
I remember that stamps are like really more important than the signature itself.
Yeah,
So is
in
that
Japan,
true?
yes. Yes, I have one as well. Wait, I can show you right now.
Oh my goodness, they're really gonna show me that. Okay, I mean while she's finding her stamp of
I can-
approval.
So this is my stamp, and everyone needs to have this. If
Is it like a
you're living in Japan.
thumbprint stamp or something or what?
No, it's a stamp of my name.
Anybody can forge this, what isn't it?
Yeah, that's the point. So that's why that's what I've been wondering as well.
Okay, never mind. We're going off topic now, but this is an interesting thing. But
Yeah.
maybe what I was trying to ask you is that now that the pandemic is ever changing, like how are you affected, and how do you think Japan is affected by the pandemic? I don't know why we're talking about technology suddenly, but I guess it's good to know. It's good to know, but
Yeah.
I guess my question was to ask you, like, what do you think, like, how have you been facing the COVID pandemic? I mean, yes, you're doing all your vloggings through your YouTube channel. It gives viewers a really good sense on your situation. But maybe just to help us understand a little bit better for those who doesn't really watch your videos, like, how are you coping in general?
Since the pandemic was like in 2020, which is the
Of
year
course,
I
yes.
entered this university. So I've never had a physical class in the university before. So I feel like I miss out a lot about
I
the
know, right?
university life. Yeah. So it's like all online classes, and I have not experienced that before, taking a physical class, but soon, because 2 weeks later I might have face-to-face class instead of online class. So I'm looking forward to that.
Of course you are.
And yeah, and also online classes just was really convenient. I just have to wake up from my bed like 1 minute before the class.
But let's be
Compared
honest,
to,
that's
like-
lazy, right?
Yeah,
If you have to do
compared to
that.
like face-to-face classes, it's like I have to wake up like 1 hour prior. So yeah, I'm used to that, and I think that's cool. And also because I don't have to go to school, I can save a lot of time, and I can just do whatever I want. Like I have to like edit video, and I have more time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice as well.
And
And then you
also-
save money as well.
Yes, save money as well. And because of pandemic, I don't really go out, so save money as well, and also some time. So yeah, basically just
Cool. I think it kind of sucks a lot because you're spending your university life through the pandemic, especially from the very start. And I don't know how long are you taking for your university. I'm assuming 3 or 4 years, right? So are you worried that this pandemic will really last throughout your entire university life, that you will graduate with a virtual ceremony?
yeah, I'm. It will last for quite a long time, but I would say like going through a pandemic in Japan might be much like a better experience than going through a pandemic in like Malaysia or even Singapore, because over there they have like lockdowns, and in Japan it's like freedom. The government just leave it to us.
Inverted
Yeah.
commas lockdown.
Yeah, so it's like graduation ceremony and all those ceremony. My university can actually organize those, and the government is not restricting us anything. That's like it might be a better experience over here. Of
Oh,
course,
okay.
I'm worried that it might last until I graduate, but I cannot do anything about it, and maybe just have this mindset of, oh, it's better to go through the pandemic in Japan than in other places. So I had my experience of university better.
I
maybe?
share your concern as well,
Yeah.
because I'm also personally worried because I just started my full-time job, and I started it like during the pandemic itself, and it's like I'm so not used to it, because it's like you're facing people with masks and you're separated with the social distancing, and you don't really like interact with your colleagues like face to
Yes.
face, and you don't have that kind of luxury to really mingle around, socialize around
Yeah.
like a normal person. So I don't know. I kind of crave for all this like interactions, being an ambivert in a way or an
Mhm.
extrovert. But I guess it's for the better good because we're
Mhm.
trying to curb we're trying to curb the cases and making sure that the cases doesn't rise. But then again, like, is it really good for our mental health? So like
Uh,
for you, is that you mentioned that university life must have really sucked a lot because like yeah, yes, you're at home and you're enjoying it a lot, but you really crave for the interactions, like the face to face, like basically interacting with your friends and university friends. I don't think you really know like a lot of your university friends, right?
um. Yeah. I
You
I
see,
I've never seen their faces
you see,
before as
it
well.
sucks. It's like you
Yeah.
don't know anybody. It's like if you
Mhm.
need help in your assignments or anything, like who
Yes.
can you approach to?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. That was my one of my inconvenience as well since last year. I
Oh
have no one
man,
to approach.
I feel sad for you, but press F for respect. I hope things will I hope things will go well lah. So
Mm.
if you are listening, please wash your butts, your hands, and everything. Please adhere to all the safe distancing measures, and please make COVID go away. That's
Let's do
important.
this. Let's do this.
So now, just a few more questions before we end off.
Mm.
Now with the COVID changing, like like ever changing,
Mm-hmm.
progressively, how has it like affected you in terms of your homesickness? Like, do you feel ever homesick more than in general? Because now that you can't exactly travel back as often or at least as easy as possible.
Yeah, I do sometimes think that, like, sometimes I will feel like, oh, what if I wake up the next morning and I'm in Malaysia? That would be great. I want to eat my nasi lemak. I
Oh
want to
man,
eat
nasi lemak.
like the main thing that is like grabbing my head, wanting to go back is the food. Because I'm kind of bored with the food in Japan already. Of course, it's
Hello, you
great.
say you like sushi? What happened?
Yeah, yeah, I still like sushi, but I don't eat sushi daily. Sushi is not something the Japanese eat every day as well. So it's like, okay,
Okay.
sushi. Yeah, yeah. It's just basically like generally the food here is just the taste is just different from in Malaysia. Like in Malaysia, it's like we use spices in our food.
They
So
don't
it's
use
like
spices there?
mainly is soy sauce, salt. So it's like
That's not a lot, yep.
a little bit bland. And in Malaysia, we have something like coconut milk,
Yep.
pandan, and then we
Yep.
have like all those
Sambal
spices.
chili.
Yeah, sambal, everything. So it's like I kind of miss the taste. Yeah, and also I miss living with people.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sad.
So it's like, for
Ah,
example, if I'm at home, I will just wake up hearing my mom's voice. But when I'm here, I will just
wake
sometimes I will
up!
sleep. Sometimes I will oversleep until like afternoon. Yeah, so that's like a little bit too much freedom and too little human interaction, I guess. So sometimes I will feel like, yeah, what if the next day I wake up and I'm in Malaysia? So to me, my homesick is not that bad because some people they will get depressed
Hmm.
and yeah. For me, it's just like no.
I don't know. I guess maybe your parents do miss you a lot. I guess it's not as easy to return back to just to see them. But I
Mm-hmm.
guess there's some comfort to it because like at least your parents can see how your life is like, at least through YouTube videos. So I was like
Oh.
saying away to your YouTube videos before I end off this podcast where yes, you do post like your YouTube videos and everything. How has people around you and especially like your parents or people of your friends have reacted to your YouTube videos? Like, do you think it's a really good representation of your life in Japan or at least like your life in general at the moment in your current life point?
So for the first question, how people around me react,
Hmm.
for my parents, their reaction was not great.
Serious?
Was not great, and we kind of have a argument, has had a little fight in the beginning, and then up till now they are not actually supportive as well. But I'm not
Oh
sure if
no.
they watch it. I'm not sure if they watch it, because if they watch it, they will sure like talk about it or comment a lot about it. So
Okay.
maybe they are silently watching it, because my parents like will always go stalk me on social media, like on Instagram, Facebook, since young. So
Okay.
what I'm thinking right now is that they are silently watching, maybe.
Or
And
maybe
maybe, yeah.
or maybe they're just like very concerned for you.
Yeah, maybe like it's possible that they want to know more about what's going on in Japan and me. So I think they are curious about my life in Japan, but they don't want to say anything for now. Like different from the beginning, there's like arguments and conflicts, because maybe if that happened again, I might stop posting and they might not be able to watch anymore. So that is why I think they
Oh.
are watching silently. I just
Okay,
think, I
I
don't
think
know.
it gives us this sense of comfort because they know what you're doing roughly,
Yeah,
and I guess it's like to some extent, it's a representation of how you're living your life right now.
yeah.
But okay, maybe I'll just go back to your toxic relationship in terms your with your ex-professor.
Mhm.
In terms like your harassment and all that. Like, did your parents got concerned because of that when you uploaded that?
No, nothing. That's why I think maybe they're not watching as well. Like maybe they don't have access to it.
Huh.
That's what
Okay.
I think.
So let's just see if they have this access to this podcast and they just listen to you.
Like, or maybe they just don't know the way to stalk me on YouTube. They only know how to stalk me on Instagram and Facebook, maybe.
Maybe they don't know your nickname Sakura Snoopy.
Yeah, maybe they just forget about my. They just cannot remember my nickname, my channel name, maybe. Just
Maybe,
maybe.
maybe, maybe. Okay, that's good. That's good. But how about your friends? Especially like in Japan or at least like back in hometown. Like, do they like what's
Mm,
the reaction? I mean, just kind of curious.
I'm surprised. Actually, my friend watches my video,
Oh,
so they usually didn't say anything, because that would be so awkward. Like I would feel embarrassed. I don't know about you, but I would feel embarrassed. Like, oh, you're watching me on YouTube, and like the camera is so near to my face. Like my face is so big, and sometimes in my videos, I just like started vlogging once I just wake up, like just from my sleep. And because like on YouTube, people tend to like make up and make themselves look good before turning on the camera, right? But for me, it's like just like whatever it is, like even if I
basically
don't
they
look good.
seen your unglamness already lah.
Yeah. I have a friend who told me that she liked watching my videos, because I was real. I don't
Okay,
make myself like I just pick up my camera once, even I don't look good. So
okay.
she told me it was very real and she liked it, and that I think that is the only comment I got from a friend.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I have a Japanese friend as well. She told me she was learning English while watching my videos, even though I'm not a native at all. But because I have subtitles, and
Yeah, I noticed
yeah.
that. Yep. Do you add the subtitles because they're Japanese
No,
friend?
no, no, no.
Okay, just
I add
wondering.
subtitles because I just feel like my English, the pronunciation is not there yet. So maybe with subtitles it's easier to like follow. That's why I put subtitles.
Is it because you got they're influenced by the Japanese way of living and how they speak? That's why maybe your English has been a bit affected by it.
Actually, yes. Like I would say my English back in Malaysia is much better. I can speak better, write better, read better. But in Japan, because you don't use that language, I don't use English in Japan. Like mostly I talk to my professor, I talk to my classmate, everything. Because in university, I'm also in an environment that is like Japanese. So I have
Yep,
to speak in
I'm a.
Japanese, and very seldom I have to speak in English. That's why
Mhm.
it just gets harder for me to speak English than Japanese. But Japanese is also hard for me to speak as well. So it's like I'm in the middle. Yeah,
Yeah,
identity crisis maybe.
so basically your English ability is slowly disappearing, and the way for you to revive it is basically to do your YouTube channel, because
Yes. Like
so
in
it's
the
to make sure that you
beginning,
don't forget
yeah.
it.
In the beginning, I really cannot speak at all. In the beginning,
English.
that is why I did voiceovers in my earlier videos.
Oh yeah, I watched some of your earlier videos. Yeah, I kind of understood like your struggle. I guess I mean To be very honest, like I also kind of learned a little bit of Japanese culture through your videos.
Mhm.
That's why I kind of reached out to you, and like
Mhm.
you were sharing about your struggles, especially as you do sometimes find difficult for you to be consistent in uploading your videos. That's
Mhm.
why like you kind of took some time away. I mean, partly because you had the situation as well. I'm assuming. So that's why it was hard for you to upload some videos here and there from that certain time period. But before that, you were quite consistent in uploading your videos. Maybe you just want to share, like, maybe you want to share, like, how do you get consistent and, like, how do you generate your ideas for your YouTube videos? Is it like because, like, oh, maybe next week I'm going somewhere interesting? So that's the whole topic of that YouTube video, or I'm going to find something to do for the YouTube video itself.
In the beginning, I actually planned a lot about my video, like what
Oh,
topics are searchable on YouTube. And yes, I did that as well. Like, for example, next week I'm going somewhere and I'm gonna vlog that, and that's the content.
yep.
But yeah, that is during the beginning. But I think going somewhere cannot be everything. Like 10 minutes video, maybe going somewhere can just take like 2 to 3 minutes. In the beginning, I would just take the 10 minutes just for that going somewhere, that day of hangout. But now
Yep.
it's like different. I just noticed that attention span of people is really short online. So if you just
Yes.
hold like the whole 10 minutes just going somewhere, whole 10 minutes, it's not gonna work for me. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
going somewhere next week, for example, I will only make it like only a part of the video. So now
Yep.
it's like before this, I was pretty consistent because I was vlogging every day. I just vlog every day, like even the tiniest thing, I just vlog and I just talk a lot, talk a lot, talk a lot. And when I
That's
edit,
what I've noticed.
yeah. And also because I talk a lot, the average view duration is higher. That's why I started talking more. Because after every video was published, I will look at the analytics and see what I did wrong or what can be done better or what worked
Mm-hmm.
and what did not work. So I will record more than I need. And then when I'm editing, I will choose and pick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if like I recorded and vlog like 100%, for example, then I might take for like, I might take only 20% of it. And then the other 80% maybe I'll recycle, reuse, or I just dump it away, the footage. Yeah, that's how I did it. And also consistent because it became a habit when you upload like consistently. Like for example, Friday is my upload day.
Mm-hmm.
So before Friday, I have to do until this and that. And very important is you cannot be a perfectionist. If not,
Yep.
you cannot be consistent at all. Yeah.
Ah. So that's your advice for people who are starting YouTube, something YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's not gonna be perfect. If you want it to be perfect, then it's hard to be consistent. It's hard to upload like once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Let's end off this podcast by your final thoughts. So, do you have any advice for people who are studying abroad or living abroad? No, not to start a YouTube channel, but do you have like any general advice?
My advice is if you want to study abroad, just do it. If you have the resources, you're financially okay studying abroad, I would say it's a good experience more than a bad. The good will be more than the bad. And if you want to do it, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
All right. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Kaylyn, for all of your inputs today. I actually enjoyed the episode with you.
I enjoyed it.
Yes. Tell us, viewers. Tell the viewers and the audiences on how can we reach out to you.
I would like to have you to come over to my channel at Sakura Snoopy and watch my videos. And also follow me on Instagram, Sakura Snoopy with a double Y.
Yes, double Y.
Yes.
That's important.
And I hope you have a great time on my YouTube channel. Subscribe and watch my videos, and also subscribe to Cockhouse podcast channel.
And
I
also
hope-
Spotify and Instagram
Spotify.
page as well.
Mm.
Yes, please. So if you're coming from this podcast, do say hi at over Kaylyn's channel. Say that I sent you guys from here. Yeah, so I hope you really enjoy her content as well. I think her YouTube videos are really a good representation of her life as well as how a typical foreigner is living in Japan. I think it's really informative, and I think you'll learn a lot from there. So, all right, we come to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much, Kaylyn, for
Yeah,
joining
thank you
me
for
in this
having me
episode.
as well.
Thank you for being my first international guest. I really enjoyed this. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
My name is Kokao and her name is Kaylyn, and I will be seeing you guys in the next episode. All right, bye guys.